Let's take a look at Andrew. Didn't have the 60-foot. You see him paddling the tire there a little bit as he launches and then starts going through the gears, gets his feet up to get as much aero as he possibly can. Wow, and look at that thing just picking the front end up out there as that thing's going down there through the gears. Now look at that. He's leaning that thing over. And, wow, he was hanging on for that ride.
You saw the look on Matt's face. He didn't look like he was too impressed with that combination of tuning and driving. So.
You mentioned Matt Hines. He rode 2 exhibition runs here in the mid-90s on this racetrack. He's the only guy that I could find among the pro stock motorcycle ranks today who has any experience on this particular drag strip.
That's pretty cool.
96 and 97.
Well, here's Hector Arana, quickest rider of all time, 6:77 with a 7, and Michael Phillips. Phillips, who has had some moments of brilliance, won at Dallas. 6th in the points, 2 wins this year.
You know, there are 2 ways you could approach this one-off event for the pro stock motorcycles. You could worry about it and you know, be a little too obsessive about it, or you could be Hector Arana, who says, hey, I love it, bring on the challenge. You know, it's going to be the same for everybody. So he was actually open to coming here and doing this.
Well, that's a good attitude, level playing field. I mean, it's new to all of you. Go with it. No change for either Hector Arana, the senior. Wow. And I want to show you this. Just look at this for a second, because you don't have the traditional net down at the end of this drag strip. You have some sand, and you got more sand. And after that first set of sand is all Indian reservation. And in the older days, if you went off air and the tribal police were around, you may not get the car back. Lewis? Just a second, Lewis. I haven't turned the mic on yet. Hold on.
I think I'm on. There you go. Well, my job is to always look up what could happen in the future, and there's a chance that Hector Jr. can join his dad as a champion. Well, that has never happened before, a father-son, father-daughter in the professional classes, but it has happened in the Lucas Series. The Gwynns, you know the Gwynns, Mike Dunn, Randy Anderson, Brad Anderson, and the Nickens, Bo and David, have all won championships, father and son. Something to look out for.
Cool.
Pretty cool. As Hector Arana Jr. and Eddie Krawick come up, Karen Stouffer is online with us right now.
Quick note on Eddie Krawick. They changed all the electronic switches and relays after that bike shut down in the 2nd round at Reading, and they said it was totally a freak incident. They couldn't pinpoint it. It was a guy. So on both his and Andrew Hines bikes, totally reworked electronically for this event.
Look at that run.
There you go.
Baby.
Now Matt looks different.
Eddie Krawick sitting there, number 1. All right, we mentioned Karen Stouffer, who is down track. Karen, you with us now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I guess you know what we're going to ask.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
You know, I tapped the front brakes on this Geico Power Sports Suzuki like I normally do, and front end started to wash out, so I got off the brake real quick, and it was still on the side, so I had to put my foot down and push it up and get it to get straight and upright. So, you know, I wasn't trying to be aggressive and catch any turnouts. We got plenty of turnouts here. I just did my normal braking procedure, but it seems I'm going to have to take it a little bit easy and maybe not do my normal braking procedure, maybe take a little bit special, give a little extra special care for this racetrack, because we do have a nice long shot down.
It looked like there was a little bump there about the same time. Did you feel that? Or?
Could have been why the front end. Usually the front end, if I hit the brake, the front end won't turn sideways on me, but it definitely turned sideways and started to slide out from underneath me. So there could have been a bump or something there. But again, you know, it's just for me and my Geico Power Sports Suzuki. We're going to have to take it a little bit easy and not apply quite as much brake and definitely coast out.
Karen, this is Gary Gerald. You were talking about Wilson, your power plant today, but we're watching this video a couple of times here. You put your foot down like that. How much do you feel it? I mean, is it noticeable? Is it painful?
Well, you can see the top of my shoe. I'm going to definitely have to go visit my Simpson Apparel guys and get a new pair of shoes. But, you know, basically it was coming down on the side, and I had to do something to try and get it upright. So I yank as hard as I can, and I also use my foot and kind of ram it up. So all's good, all's well. I think the bike is actually safe. My foot's fine. It was just the leather that did its job and protected my foot. So all's good.
Nice save. Nice save.
Well, Karen, thanks for spending the time with us. Good luck. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Well, the Pro Stock's getting ready to come out, so how about the standings Pro Stock motorcycle? Eddie Krawick moving up to number 1, followed by Junior, and then, can I dare say it, the old man, followed by Matt Smith, Drew, Karen, Jerry Savoie, and Andy Smith.
The top 12 times it carried over. You see Michael Phillips, Ellie Tonlett. They're in that countdown to the championship in 9th and 10th. Sean Guillen is in that 12th and final transfer position. Drop that down to a 7-11.
I think it was a bit of surprise for everybody how many Pro Stock motorcycles showed up here. Again, we transfer the top 12 for everything from 13th on down. Don't make it on the first day, and there is that list.
And for what it's worth, Craywick entered the weekend 35 points ahead of Hector Arana Jr. And if you're paying attention to the small points and you've got out your tablets at home writing all the numbers down, they've traded small points so far, each earning 5. So right now it's just a difference in position. Craywick, extra point there for qualifying thus far on the pole, but those points aren't to be awarded until qualifying's over.
Now, we're pretty casual about this. Just hand the headset over and say, hey, Eddie, how's it going? Number 1 guy.
Man, it's going really well. Just made an awesome lap. That Harley Davidson popped the clutch. Thing went straight A to B. I didn't have to do anything. Really, it's one of those passes that feels like it goes slow, but it was going fast, and just not a whole lot going on during it.
Well, Eddie, I mean, this is the first time the Pro Stock Motorcycle Contingent have been here at Firebird. What is different about this track that you've noticed after 2 sessions?
Well, for us, obviously the heat, but the good thing about it, it's a dry heat. Our bikes are able to run good and perform naturally aspirated, obviously, when it's drier rather than wet. So that's the one thing that sticks out in my mind. And, you know, it's sort of like Vegas weather, but it's pretty cool scenery. Nice to be out here. I'm just glad to be part, you know, with Phoenix and out here at the track.
Eddie, you were mentioning that in that second round at Reading, you had some kind of an electronic gremlin there. You changed all the relays, etc. Any problems show up as you got ready and as you went through the 2 rounds today?
No, I'd sure say I have my old motorcycle back. Really don't know what it was or why it did that. We just went back, changed, like I said, changed some switches, some relays, anything that relates to the power side of things, and the motorcycle went straight down the track. I'm excited to have this bike, you know, it's just been so consistent all year, and you know, my crew chief's been doing an awesome job giving me a great motorcycle, so it makes it easier on my part, sort of makes me shine better. But more important, it's been consistent. You know, it gets good qualifying points. We go out there and we got a good package right now.
Eddie, you are the point leader right now, going for your 2nd championship. If you look over your shoulder, that guy standing right behind you, your right shoulder, yeah, that's Hector Arana Jr. He's kind of seeing that bullseye on your back. How does that feel right now with just 3 races to go?
Man, I like the pressure. I feel I perform better, and I've really been working on stepping up my program and hitting the tree and coming out here during qualifying, trying to be in the 30s in that area and have a good motorcycle, and, you know, you'll get some round wins, and more important, just making good, clean laps down the track. And I think if I do that, you know, I wouldn't say I'm not counting points, but, you know, in the end, you just want to round wins. They get you points. So that's my goal, is just to come out here and no extra pressure on me. Just have fun.
And you come out to a new track like this, one that nobody's ever been at, other maybe than Matt. And how do you find out what the track's all about? Do you have any help with that?
Well, you know, we do a lot of obviously investigating when you get to the track. You watch the weather and you sort of see what it does, but we've had some on-track assistance from some track gurus out there. I really don't want to divulge all our secrets, but you know, we've sort of stepped our game in the right direction this year. We've really focused on our overall chassis setup package, and, you know, more important, Matt's given us an awesome motorcycle, both of us, coming off the truck each race, and the key thing is, get out of the trailer, make a good run, and if you do that, you know, it's going to reflect all weekend. That first run sort of reflects on the way everything's going to go, and if we can come out there and continue to go 1 or 2, I really don't see any bad side to our program right now.
Eddie, number 1 qualifier, thank you for spending the time. Pro Stock,
thank you guys,
is up now. We showed you the qualifying order. Shane Gray, Grace Howell. Grace Howell gets out of it right away. Here is Shane.
Grace Howell's car took a right turn.
That's not good, right?
Not in a straight line sport.
Okay, especially when you got those big concrete.
It's not NASCAR either. They go left.
671, 206, and that's going to move her up to 9th in the field.
Paul, one footnote to the Eddie Craywick conversation as we watch the replay here of Grace Howell getting a little sideways. I saw Lanny McGlizzy, the track whisperer, in their camp earlier today. I think maybe he's providing them with a little bit of information.
Come on, you were... Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of a way to do that, too.
Just an observation. That's all that is.
Nothing more. Yeah, nothing more.
Well, what Lanny actually said to me was, well, when I showed this to Eddie.
What are you guys trying to say?
I don't know. Hey, you remember last year, well, over a year ago, Gordy Rivera, that's Steve Kent, and the other lane is Gordy Rivera. He was one of the pro stock cars that did kind of a little aerobatic show for us. And then that brought out some controversy about whether the track was in good enough shape for pro stock to run. And that's what led to a lot of the reconstruction that was done here. Lewis?
Well, talk about Gordy Rivera, a little drag racing history. Let's go back to the first race here, held back in 1985. There's 3 drivers who raced then who were still active. Warren Johnson, Gordy Rivera, and some guy named John Force. Our very own Mike Dunn qualified at that race in funny car, and it was also a race in the fall. It was called the Fall Nationals.
1985.
Mike was really young back then.
Yeah, he was
Really
like,
young.
like -3, right?
Sophomore in high school. Seemed like it was yesterday.
I talked briefly to Gordy when he was in the lanes before the first session today. He hadn't even been out to see what they'd done on the track. He was anxious to find out, and we were kind of joking about the fact, well, the key here is just keep it right side up. You know, don't get on your lid once again.
Steve Kent, closest to you, last was at Dallas and raced in the semis. The last 2 races he has attended. He lost at Dallas to Jason Line.
Well, some of the pro stock teams, I mean, they were concerned about this racetrack because they didn't know what they were coming into. They heard that they had done some upgrades to the track surface, but they were leaving, going to reserve judgment until they let the clutch out in that first session. Looks like everything's been okay up to this point.
Gordy, you see him right there, from Yuma, Arizona. So this is his home track on this tour.
Yeah, Gordy's been doing this for a long time.
Long time. Back since you've been a baby.
When I was a kid, I can remember Gordy Rivera racing Division 7.
Neither of these are in the top 12. Ron Krischer is the current #1, followed by Jason Line. Alan Johnson is 12th, which is the bump for the moment, a 6.72 with a 3. .686, 201 miles an hour. That's not going to change anything for Gordy Rivera. And on headset with us now is Grace Howell. Drives that beautiful red Ford. But what was that little right turn down there? You going road racing?
Well, that wasn't exactly what we were planning to do, but we have a chassis gremlin we've been fighting a little bit, but I'm sure they're going to get it taken care of. Jim Cunningham is a smart man and will definitely put us in the right direction, and we'll hopefully be in the field tomorrow.
How cool is it? We're watching that little right turn right now. How cool is it to know that you got the support and the guidance from a guy like Jim Cunningham?
You know, it's just an amazing experience. I mean, he's been doing this forever and was one of the first Ford Pro Stock racers and has continued on with it forever. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, being a lifelong Ford person myself.
Grace, is this your career aspiration? You want to be in Pro Stock, or would you like to race something else?
You know, I am a diehard racer, and I love Pro Stock, always have. I raced modified and Super Stock for, the past 10 years, and this is definitely my ultimate goal, and I would love to just continue on and hopefully get this Cunningham Motorsports Mustang in the field and a few runs under our belt.
Hey, Grace, it's that guy here. I know you get it from your dad. Do you remember the first time you went to the races with him?
My goodness, that's been a few years ago. I hate to say it because that'll even show my age. But I'm not sure the very first time, but I know we've had some great experiences too. He and I, with him, I was fortunate enough to be there while he's won a few division championships and national events and stock and super stock also. So.
Well, Grace, thanks for the time. Get that Ford running, won't you?
We will. We'll get. Thank you so much.
All right. Roger Brogdon and V Gaines, they're up now. Brogdon is in. He's 11th. V is not.
How about Roger Brogdon setting the national record in Gainesville and then had it taken away 2 weeks ago in Reading in them unbelievable conditions by Jason Line with that unbelievable run of a 6:47. Roger's trying to get back into form. I talked to him at the beginning of the countdown to the championship, and he pretty much said at that point, we're all racing for third the way that Greg and Jason are running, and he might just be right.
Didn't get off that line on the right side without a little bit of a wiggle himself. He moved up, but not up far enough. Listen to the radio set.
Something wrong with this car, I'm telling you.
Okay, then.